Yeah! Woo! My name is Dr. Mike Lang. As both a health researcher and adventure guide, I understand how being outdoors enhances the well-being of family caregivers. Brad cared for his son through an eating disorder, and together we're heading into the backcountry with Peter Prediger, a clinical counselor and adventure guide working with youth. Along the way, we'll talk about the importance of self-awareness in caregiving situations. This is Caregivers in the Wild.
And you can kind of see it.
Yeah, you can sort of see it. Yeah, this is what we're skiing right here.
Yeah.
That's and then right here it gets
here's a consolidated
and
layer.
it's consolidated, yeah.
And then it
gets harder. It's even harder there, yeah. You can even like.
Well, yeah. Look at
That-
that. Yeah. Look at those crystals.
Those big crystals, hey,
Yeah.
big crystals. I've heard this actually from a lot of caregivers, right? Is that we have all these things that are normal that we sort of do every day. I guess those weak layers that we all have.
Or there's
you know?
deep persistent.
Deep persistent layers, yeah, that we all have as humans, right? You know, and you don't understand what those deep persistent layers are until you're in that caregiving situation.
Under stress, we get that tunnel vision.
Yeah.
You know, in the mountains when things are falling apart, like your brain just goes into so focused on.
And then you try and solve a problem when that's the wrong response, right? So I had to learn not to solve the problem sometimes.
Yeah. Stay away from that terrain, right? Right.
Ooh.
All right.
Okay,
Where was
Went
that?
right down.
Where did that one go?
That went right down.
I saw
Guy
something.
here.
That was this guy. Yeah, that's this guy.
That's this guy.
Right here.
you heard that like,
Oh,
Yeah. So we know there's that deep persistent layers there, right? Are we thinking then trees down the ridge line that way?
I think
Yeah.
stick to the trees.
All right.
More conservative slopes, would be my guess.
yeah.
So,
Do some skiing.
yeah, let's do some skipping.
He had gone from about 150 pounds to slightly over 100 as a result of this eating disorder taking hold. He'd go to a donut shop, consume 12 donuts, and then find a gas station and throw it up. And then that would go on, not for like 2 hours, 3 hours, it would go on for 12 hours. And by the time he was admitted, pretty much every organ was failing and heart rate in the high 20s. He would bounce around 120 pounds. You know, during the really tough time, I'd pretty much every night go down and make sure he was still breathing. It probably made me think more about the type of person I was.
Yeah.
And than I ever had to ever before.
Yeah.
And when I did have the opportunity for reflection, I tried to take those times to deal with the fear and other things and try and quieten those things down, because if I would come before my son in that state, it would just activate all sorts of things in him. My meditation is running, backcountry skiing, cross-country skiing, cycling. It's where I try and get my balance back.
Right along the ridge,
Yeah.
not through the face here, but along.
Yeah, we're thinking down this side, I think.
Yeah,
Back into
down
the
that
saddle.
side. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd probably more
down
or less
the gully
be skiing
side.
right down our skin tracks, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
My upbringing kind of taught me the desire to control, the desire to fix. Before we went through this, I'd be very reactive, very aggressive. I was a completely different person. At some point, you just have to accept that this illness has its course. I can be there to support and listen and be more understanding, and in some cases, that's all you can do.
The desire to fix is that is a deep love. But parents, you like have the permission to love differently and to seek to understand themselves in that process.
That's well said.
When you're caring for a child with an eating disorder, the most important thing is that you're still there tomorrow. And all this other stuff is a bonus. You know, the personal growth that can happen, you know, all that stuff is sort of it's the powder day, you know.
That's
that
the silver lining.
experience. It's the silver lining of all this stuff, right?
It makes you a different person.
Yeah. And you know, when you are aware of these deep layers in your life, you can actually change them.
Yeah.